Antarctica is the loneliest place on Earth, but did you know it turns normal people into crazy people? The scientific reason behind this is small brain. No, really. The isolation shrinks your hippocampus, which leads to poor decision-making, violence, and some of the most peculiar cases of crime. Case 1. Arson at Almirante Brown Station. Antarctica sure is cold. Good thing we have this burning research station here to warm us up. So, how did this happen? Well, this is the station doctor, and his job was making sure that the scientists here didn't go crazy in the harsh Antarctic environment. The irony was, he was starting to go crazy too. But thankfully, the doctor was only here for the summer, and the end of his stay was right around the corner. Or so he thought, because he was then ordered to stay for the winter as well. Now, what would you do in this situation? Just suck it up? Or maybe burn everything down instead?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
In a place made entirely of water, you might think that fires aren't really a big deal, but you'd be wrong. 1. Antarctica is the windiest continent on Earth, so fires spread really quickly. 2. There's no liquid water available to fight the fire, it's all frozen. And 3. If it destroys your radio and emergency supplies, you're stranded, completely cut off from the outside world. But the doctor was so desperate to leave that he didn't care, and luckily his plan worked. A supply ship noticed the fire and turned back to rescue them, and then dumped them at another station nearby. Surprisingly, there were no charges pressed against him. Instead, the station was rebuilt, and winter stays were banned to avoid incidents like this again. Now in the summer, it's a popular sledding location for tourists and penguins. Case 2. Stabbing at the Russian research station. Well, here's our victim. His name's Oleg. He appears to have some extra holes in him, but he's somehow still alive. Hey! How did this happen, huh? Well, it all started with Oleg's special talent for driving his co-workers up the wall, especially his colleague Russian scientist Sergei Savitsky. Savitsky loved to read books, which was one of the few entertaining things to do on this frozen wasteland. So after a long day, he was looking forward to getting back into that mystery book he'd been reading. But just as he was getting to the juicy part, Oleg would always come along and spoil it.
The butler did it.
Again and again, every book ruined by Oleg. Until... And that's how we ended up here, right, Oleg? Maybe you should have seen that coming. Speaking of which, where is Savitsky? Savitsky actually turned himself in after he was overcome with regret from his actions. I mean, what was he gonna do instead?
Why are you running?
Dude, there's literally nowhere to go. So they locked him in the church for a week, until he was flown back to Russia to face justice. But he received no punishment for his crimes. In fact, Oleg actually forgave him after he made a full recovery in hospital. It turns out Savitsky was just a normal man, who never thought he would try to kill someone. A+ for effort though, but it goes to show that in Antarctica, anyone can be pushed over the edge. Maybe you do the same. I know I would. Maybe all of this could have been avoided if they just had better Antarctic streaming services.
There's not really much variety down here.
But we can solve that with today's sponsor, Surfshark. Surfshark VPN is an app and browser extension that lets you virtually place your computer or phone anywhere in the world. And this allows you to access the internet as if you were actually there instead.
Hey, can I have my laptop back?
Now you can stream French content from France virtually.
But I didn't want French content.
How about exclusive French discounts on baguettes? Told you it was a good deal. Surfshark also adds an extra layer of security by sitting between you and your internet provider.
Don't mind me.
It then scrambles your passwords and data to help keep you anonymous while you're browsing.
Not for me, though.
And you're not limited to just one device, or even 10 devices. You can connect unlimited devices simultaneously with one account. Go to surfshark.com/dumbdoggo for an extra 4 months of Surfshark for free. That's surfshark.com/dumbdoggo. Plus it's just free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video. Case 3. A fall at Stonington Island. You know that feeling when you just want to push someone off a cliff? No? Just me? Hey, have you liked the video yet? Well, this incident unfolds on the rocky frozen cliffs of Stonington Island, where 2 men are conducting research on birds' nests. One of them is young Dr. McLean on his first ever Antarctic expedition, and the other is Finron, the experienced captain. He's been on multiple expeditions and knows the dangers of being careless, so he's super strict with his men to the point where people describe him as a dictator. And he's created many enemies because of this, including McLean himself. For months, McLean had been suffocating under Ron's leadership. He just wanted to come here and look at some penguins, but no penguins. They eventually reach the top and Ron begins his research. But at that moment, a dangerous thought pops into McLean's head. What if he just pushed him off the edge? See, I knew I wasn't alone. It would be so easy to say that it was an accident, that Finron had just slipped, and that was that. And then finally, Dr. McLean could enjoy Antarctica. In the end, McLean's humanity won, and the two men returned from their task safely. Finron went on to leave a lasting legacy with all his expeditions, and McLean went back to a normal private doctor life in Alaska, later admitting that he'd never come so close to killing someone in his life. Case 4. Assault at McMurdo Station. McMurdo is a great name for a place to commit murder. Anyway, seems like something's cooking in the kitchen. Ooh, victims! Looks like the weapon of choice was a hammer, and you guys have been hit with the claw end. This side blunt trauma, this side stabby stabby. Let's rewind a little. Two cooks get into a fight. Over what? Nobody knows. But even the small disagreements spiral out of control in Antarctica. One cook grabs a hammer and blindly starts swinging. A third cook jumps in to break it up, and now there's two cooked cooks. Next, the special deputy comes in, and his role is to enforce the law at the station. But he wasn't allowed to carry any weapons. He only had this handbook.
Let's see here. Diffuse the situation through verbal discourse. Hey! Please stop. Well, I guess that's my job done.
That's how unprepared the station was for handling situations like this. It really do be just a bunch of scientists everywhere. Eventually, the special deputy did manage to deal with the attacker and placed them in a hut under 24/7 observation. Typically, suspects are sent back to their home countries for trial, but this case was unique. It was the first time that federal law enforcement was sent to Antarctica instead. They looked over the evidence and arrested the perpetrator. He was taken to Hawaii where he faced 4 counts of assault, but just like everyone else, he was pronounced not guilty due to the stressful conditions in Antarctica. Thankfully, the 2 victims fully recovered, and learning from that experience, the US Antarctic program upgraded their playbook. Case 5. Corruption at King Sejong Station. In October of 2009, it was reported that an attack had occurred at King Sejong Station, but there were conflicting reports as to what actually happened. This is the head chef, the alleged victim. He says that he was violently assaulted by the general manager. This is the station leader. He says that the assault never actually happened, and it was all just verbal threats. Even the doctor who tended to the head chef says the injuries were just minor. So who's telling the truth? Well, let's see what the others think about the head chef.
He sucks. His food stinks. Get him out of here.
I like him. I mean, I'd like him to die. Yeah. And what do you think about our suspected attacker?
I respect him. He's my big bro.
He's always looking out for us.
He's the best. The greatest. I hate him.
I mean, I hate how nice he is. Yeah, I see. I think I need more evidence, though. Where's the CCTV footage?
Whoops, I deleted all of it. My bad.
Hey, what are you doing over there? You took a recording of the CCTV footage yourself? Alright, let's have a look. Yeah, get him! Yeah, get him! Oh, get him! Turns out, everyone hated the head chef, and they were trying to cover up the crime the entire time. But clearly, they all knew about it, because when the chef managed to escape, the general manager literally broadcast this message to the entire station. If you don't come here in the next 30 minutes, I will kill you! So let's think about the options you've given him for a moment. Stay away from the scary violent man and die, or go towards the scary violent man and die. That's a tough one. This station actually had a history of violence and cover-ups over the years, but everyone had just gotten used to it. They even signed a petition asking for leniency towards the general manager. Could this be a case of an entire station being affected by Antarctic small brain syndrome? The head chef certainly thought so, which is why he shared his footage with the public in the first place. But in the end, both the chef and the attacker were fired. The station leader received a warning for trying to cover it up, and that's about it. A typical resolution to Antarctic criminal activity. Everyone goes home scot-free. So, what was the lesson we learned from all these cases? Repeat after me. Violence in Antarctica is okay.
Okay.
See ya next time.